Let's move to another state now. We have with us Mr. Suneel Wattal, Joint CTO, Department of IT, Government of Haryana. Let's hear his vision on digital transformation and what Haryana state is doing. Over to you, sir.
Good morning. I work for the IT department in Haryana, and I lead a group of software solutions group. I lead a group of developers. We do our in-house application development. So what I'm going to talk about is I'm going to talk about IT enablement for e-governance, and I'll just refer to some success stories. I have a long list of success stories in the past 3 years, but I've just picked up 3 stories for you. But just to give you a background of when we talk about e-governance, a lot of discussions have happened since yesterday, and e-governance, essentially, we are focusing about citizen-centric services, citizen empowerment, speed of delivery, and transparency. Much as it is transparency, there's also a component of accountability, and one of my later slides talks about it. We moved to a scenario where we said instead of discrete applications, we would move to more of centralized applications. And also the focus was on in-house development, moving away from vendors, which gave us an advantage of low cost of ownership, wherein we do in-house development, we use open source technology, gives us advantage in the terms of knowledge retention. It also gives us an advantage wherein we have the same teams, development and support goes hand in hand. It may be different people, but they're co-located. It is not a transition from a development team to a support team, and that thing happens very seamless. The other part that has happened here is that we have a lot of reusable components which gets reused across departments. Similar things happen across departments. Example in question is there's a DC who wanted an application for a particular district. We made it for them, and then we sort of rolled it out to other districts because other DCs also have similar requirements. So when the requirements are similar, we try to sort of standardize these processes, and goes back to what one of the panelists mentioned yesterday, goes back to enforcing of BPR in the departments, which otherwise they would not have done. So the 3 stories that I'm going to pick up, the first story I'm going to talk about is our recruitment portal. We have a centralized recruitment portal which was developed within last couple of years. The whole thing started with acceleration of recruitment process. This is a centralized, digitized website being used. The portal is being used both by Staff Service Commission and the state's Public Service Commission. The whole concept started with one-time registration of candidates. We said that any candidate who aspires for a government job in Haryana will have to go and register himself on this website once. So at the time of registration, he gets a unique registration ID, which is valid for him to apply for multiple jobs as and when the vacancies come up. So that becomes a sort of a mandatory process, and when the person registers, he feeds in his basic data, and we do some authentications. Especially we do an Aadhaar auth, and we also validate his mobile number and his email ID, his or her email ID. Along with that, we take in family details. We take in our state, we have something called a Parivar Pehchan Patra, which records the family ID and the member ID. So, and that's gradually becoming mandatory in the state. So when a candidate registers, if he registers with his PPP ID, a lot of data gets validated. So you can validate, especially in case of recruitment, what is very important is the socio-economic factors. Because based on categories, based on various castes and categories, there are certain leverages that are given for jobs, and all that socio-economic validation is done through PPP. After registration, the next thing that comes up is the common entrance test. We conducted a common entrance test for Group C positions last December, and we had a registration of about 17 lakh candidates. It was the common entrance test in Haryana was one of the biggest state entrance test that was done in the recent times, with more than 14 lakh candidates, 14.5 lakh candidates appearing on the same day. So which was a humongous job. And what's happening also is when people register for this test, there's a candidate document verification happening. Right now, that document verification happens by way of the candidates are uploading their documents, and these documents are checked centrally somewhere. But going forward, the plan could be that these could be, we could interface them with the National Academic Directory, so that a candidate, ultimate vision is that the candidate just plugs in his roll number, year of passing, and the university, and from the academic directory one can validate his documents. Post this, the whole process, we also generate admit cards, and we also generate admit cards online and then display test scores. The process is being followed both at different levels. We had Group C exams last year. We're doing Group D right now, and we're also rolling out same thing, same process. The same application is being used for Public Service Commission also for on a trial basis for certain positions. Right? So this is one of the showcases. Very huge volumes. We had data challenges. We had teething problems. The first run was very difficult, but now it's going on very smoothly without any problems and without any concerns per se. The second thing that I'm going to talk about is we have a portal called Saral Portal. Saral Portal is a unified platform for all G2C services. So as a citizen, if I have to avail of any government service, I just need to go to this Saral Portal. I'll go and create a login first time. Once I create a login, I can avail any of the government services. I do not need to visit any department. It is almost something akin to what Satiji mentioned earlier about Umang. It's like the Umang application. There's a single portal, single point where all departmental services can be availed. And it's again paperless. It's aligned to the vision of paperless and faceless service delivery. And as the citizen does not need to go to any department at all. There are 3 modes of application here. One can apply on the portal, one can use the mobile application, or the third point, people who do not have connectivity or who do not have access, we have something called citizen service centers. So in the rural areas, generally it happens, people walk up to the citizen service center and there's a facilitation center, the guy sitting there fills up the form for you, fills up the application for you. And also when I want to apply for a service, the moment I log in, there's a drop down of services. I choose a service. For example, I choose a service as a birth certificate. I need to create a birth certificate for somebody. There's a document on the side which pops up, which gives me an SOP of that service. It gives me stepwise, it guides me stepwise, what all do I have to apply, how do I apply for this, and what do I have to fill in the fields. So that's a very, very strong knowledge management system that we are retaining here. Other than this, the portal also has a dedicated helpline. We have a call center which supports Saral, and on this call center, they're both, you can track your tickets, you can track your applications, you can raise issues, and there's a proper ticketing system for that. We do get about 10 lakh applications per month. We deliver 6 lakh tracking SMSs, and the helpline receives almost 1.2 lakh calls per month. There is also a proper feedback mechanism. We use IVRS. At the end of every application, there's an IVRS call which goes to an applicant. Again, there's another call which goes to an applicant at the end of the service delivery when the service is rendered. Both the times we record, we take the rankings. The rankings, all that data is collated, it is analyzed by various cuts, by particular departments, by districts or whatever, and to find out to find out where are the weakest links and where can we improve the same. Benefits, I've already mentioned most of these benefits, and it also augments. Our state has a Right to Service Act. So as per RTS, we are supposed to deliver services within a particular timeline. Every service has a defined service level agreement. So if a birth certificate is to be delivered within 10 days, the moment it crosses 10 days, it also generates an appeal. So the citizen also has an appealing mechanism. There's also an appealing mechanism built in there, and this is a platform which gives me a cut for finding out the aging of pending applications, which is very helpful in some of the analytics here. Okay, this is just a screenshot. The first one is the top one is a dashboard which even a user can go and see, and you can click and drop down. The number here is the total number is about 6 crore applications which is received within the last. This is a total application, but we can go year-wise. The bottom graphs are what we analyze. We do a department-wise analysis, a district-wise, a service-wise analysis, and things like that. Okay, the third success story that I'm going to talk about is our CM dashboard. This whole requirement started with our Honorable CM wanting a dashboard where he could have a unified, consolidated view of all the departments. So he says, I don't want to get into 10 different departments, and all departments have their own separate applications. What we have done here is we have created a dashboard with visuals. It's highly visual oriented, and it takes in data, live feed of data from various departments, all integrated together. We have the data comes in through APIs and gives an overall view to the top executive to see where we are faring. So one of the challenges here was to finalize the KPIs, the metrics for each department. So the Honorable CM decided these are the metrics, this is what I want to see in these departments. And for the past few months, all his department reviews, all his reviews with the respective department heads are happening with the help of this dashboard. Just to give you a look here, this is how the dashboard looks like. And it's a BI tool, highly visual. And if you see at the top row, there are a lot of filters. In fact, every dimension that this data has carries a filter. And if the moment one filters, I'm sorry I cannot show you the live thing because it is not on internet. It's restricted, it's on a private VPN. So if I select any of the things from the filters up there, let's say I select a department there, and if I'm talking about a particular department, let's say health department, all the figures, everything on this dashboard will change and display only metrics pertaining to health department. Similarly, the other thing we have is, if you see this map in the center, I can go and click on it. This map shows the districts of our state. I can go and click on any of these districts. And the moment I click on that, I get a holistic picture of the whole thing, right? This is one sample. The other sample I have is, okay, this is another sample. Again, here, if you see the horizontal bars, there are these horizontal bars and all these numbers, there are those icons. The moment we click on any of these, it throws up a table and shows us the things. And one of the things that an executive is interested in is, most of the cases he's interested more in what are the pendencies and what are the agings. So, for example, if I see the pending things here, and if I go and click on that pending, it will give me an entire list, a tabulated form of what is pending. A very important, and because we had to see those pendencies, because we had to see that drill down data, because of that drill down data, it brings us to very high data volumes. We have about 50 million data points here on this dashboard. And the other thing I just wanted to mention is we've also integrated, when I go to a pendency, a drill down, we have captured, this was a requirement wherein we were supposed to capture, and we capture the phone numbers of the citizens who has raised this request, the phone number of the officer who is attending to that. So, and then we have integrated this dashboard with phones, so that when the dashboard shows up the phone number, you click on the phone number and then immediately a call is connected to that citizen or a call is connected to that officer. So we've had instances where during a departmental review, the top executive is directly speaking to the citizen and asking him, okay, you had raised this request, has this request been addressed or not? And there are also times when he calls up the concerned officer, why is this pending, and things like that. A very, very robust mechanism for reviews, and one of the most successful projects that we've done in the recent times. So that's all. Thank you. I'll be happy to take any questions. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Suneel Wattal, Joint CTO from the IT Department, Government of Haryana, as you have told us that some of the initiatives being taken, Saral. I think simplifying citizens' life through e-governance solutions, that can be the one line if I have to sum up. I know we're running short of time, but I'll ask one question to Anirudh Saran Singh. I can't help then asking this question because I have been to Arunachal. Why I want to ask you this question is that I remember as a journalist, I went to Arunachal 15 years back, all the way from Guwahati to Tawang to cover Dalai Lama's visit. And I remember it took us almost 10 hours. There was only one cyber cafe in Tawang that time, 15 years back. It almost took 10 hours, 8 hours for us to send little bit of feed to our head office because there was a BSNL collection. And every time we used to send the video, it is going to cut because of the connectivity issue. So I want to ask you, in a difficult terrain of Arunachal Pradesh, how you are ensuring this government service delivery through digital means, with keeping in mind the problems of connectivity in that difficult terrain? Your thoughts on that, sir?
And I should have covered this in my piece. The backbone of any electronic service delivery is connectivity. And there was definitely a lack of it. This gap was felt, discussed, deliberated upon in 2017. In fact, you mentioned Tawang, and it would be interesting to tell you that we had the Northeast Connectivity Summit in Tawang in 2017, where this gap was discussed threadbare. Post that, we have installed, with the help of Government of India, 1,200 mobile towers in the state. We are in the process of installing 1,000 more. We installed around 1,700 VSAT machines. And that provided the kind of connectivity framework which has allowed government services to be delivered to the doorsteps of citizens. So I think that would answer your question.
Yes, yes. Thank you so much. That I think it deserves a round of applause, the kind of transformation. So that's the power of technology and how it can transform. I remember Mr. Dhan Singh Rawat, Honorable Health Minister of Uttarakhand, was in Delhi last month in one of our health conferences. He also said that in a difficult terrain of Uttarakhand, how they have transformed lives in terms of healthcare delivery through telemedicine during the peak of COVID. That's the power of technology. That's how they have transformed. Thank you so much. I think the entire panel needs a round of applause for an insightful session on various aspects of best practices. I request Ritesh Kumar Agarwal, CEO Chhattisgarh Infotech Promotion Society, to come on stage and kindly hand over mementos to our eminent speakers. Huge applause for him as well. He's attending the conference since yesterday, but he doesn't want to speak, but we got this opportunity to take him on stage. Please, sir. Can we have the We can start with Anirudh Saran Singh, Secretary Department of IT, Government of Arunachal Pradesh. Huge round of applause. He has come all the way from Arunachal to Mr. Kiran Anandam Pillai from National Health Authority, to Colonel Dr. Indrajit Singh, co-founder Indian Blockchain Forum, to Mr. Suneel Wattal, Joint CTO Department of IT, Government of Haryana, to Mr. Satish Kaushal, Strategic Advisor, Government, Deloitte, India. I'll request for a group photo. Neha, if you can also join us for this photo. Can we have a group photo, please, together? Abhijit sir, can you join us for the group photo, please? Sangamita ji, Gopi, can you please join us for the photo, please?